Welcome back to the Your Girl Yaz podcast, the podcast to listen to if you're a female entrepreneur who's ready to attract more fun, more money, success, friendships, and amazing clients into your business. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I can add some more positivity into your day in this episode. Hello girls, welcome back to another episode on the Your Girl Yaz podcast. If you are watching, you'll see we are sat in a lovely cabin in our Christmas pyjamas. I am with one of my best friends, Charlotte, and I asked her to come on the podcast last week because she has just got the most incredible story. She's such an incredible friend, business owner, like support system, manifestation bestie. Honestly, you play so many roles in my life.
That's so cute, but exactly the same. I appreciate you.
We've been on such a big journey together, and we actually met. I will tell the story of how we met because it is so funny. But first, I just wanted to welcome Charlotte to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
Yay! We're literally just sat here in our Christmas pyjamas having a
Such
coffee.
a vibe.
We've got matching pyjamas. We are like that couple. We booked a romantic shepherd's hut as well.
We've got a hot tub, everything.
We were literally sat in the hot tub last night, weren't we? Just chatting absolute for like 2 hours. Just like
it was great.
It was one
so
of the,
good.
It was one of the ones as well that you have to heat up with like, it was like, what was it? Natural heating.
Yes. Yes. The fire, the wood.
We
get everything.
We kept having to get out the hot tub and heat up this like fire in the freezing cold, and we're both like clueless to what we were doing. And I also booked the wrong night in the cabin. We were meant to be here tonight, so I did a masterclass last night, and I messaged Shah and I was like, "Girl, I have booked the wrong night," and she was like, "Do you want to just go tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So
it worked out.
We're well in our little element now. But when I wanted to have Charlotte on the podcast, it's because she's got such an incredible story. Like, if you follow her Instagram, it's at Charlotte Pierce Hair, and you'll see this most aesthetic, perfect, gorgeous, incredible hair extension business. And she does like online courses and hair extensions in person. People have flown all over the world to come have her do their hair, and she focuses on like amazing curly hair. So, but we know it's not always been like this, has it?
No, it hasn't been a straightforward journey at all, but we thrive in the chaos. We made it through the other side.
You've done honestly so well.
Thank you.
So I feel like it would be good to maybe go back to, you know, maybe first of all telling a little bit about you and your business and like sort of where you are now, and then we can go back in time.
So my name's Charlotte. I'm 27 years old. I'm from London. I've been doing hair since I was around 15, so being pretty consistent at it. Now my main focus is inclusive hair extensions, inclusive, damage-free. Like, we do a lot of wavy, curly hair. That is so much fun.
Yeah.
But in the last few years, I've kind of like flipped the focus to be more on like my online courses. So I certify other people in hair extensions. I teach them how to build their own businesses, and it's just vibes. And I love it so much, and it's so rewarding.
Honestly, you do so well. And like just
Thank
the
you.
transformations. Like, what does it mean? I know we were talking about this last night, but how does it feel to like transform people in their life?
I feel like I have such a special job. So I've done everything in hair. So I've done like hair cutting, colouring, weddings, editorial hair. But I feel like with doing hair extensions, it is the biggest transformation, and you literally change so many lives, and it's just so special. Like, the confidence boost that my clients get is insane. Like, literally seeing like the spring in their step when they leave the chair is so special. And yeah, I think it's just the best thing that you can do. And I feel like I get paid to like talk to my friends all day as well. Because like the connections that you make with your clients are just incredible. Like, most of my clients, pretty much all my clients, have turned into friends. And it's the best. And I just feel so blessed to call it my job.
Honestly,
it's great.
I feel like we both have created like these Barbie lives for ourselves in different ways, haven't we? With like our girly job worlds.
Yeah, it's so true.
I was going to say as well, because so many of us have curly hair, right? And like what you were talking about last night, we were talking in the hot tub, and I couldn't believe the statistics to like how there's just not anything out there for curly hair. So Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so the entire hair industry is just non-inclusive pretty much. So when you go to hair school, when you go to college, you don't have to learn curly hair. It's just not part of the curriculum. So a lot of people have really shabby curly haircuts. I've had so many bad ones myself. The hair extension industry is probably the worst for non-inclusivity, to be honest. Like, so many curly girls struggle with straight extensions. Living in the UK, they're like fighting with the damp, the humidity, and it's quite toxic, to be fair. So I feel very grateful that I'm able to help other people embrace their natural texture and like stop the struggle and actually just be able to embrace the hair that they've been blessed with.
Yeah, and it made me so happy. Like, there's a girl called Holly Boone on TikTok, and she flew all the way to LA, and she's had these like curly hair extensions shipped over, and like she just had no idea that there was anyone in England really doing it. And like I was scrolling through the comments, because she had these beautiful curly hair extensions fitted. And she was like, there's just no one in England. And I saw so many people tagging Charlotte and being like, oh my gosh, you need to follow this girl. And I'm like, yeah, my best friend.
Honestly, it made my day. Like, I feel like sometimes I get a little bit nervous if I see a lot of people tagging me, because I feel like we all do.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh.
No, literally, like, people of TikTok singing my praises. So yeah, it was so nice. And of course, your comment as well. Yes.
I'm always there like, woo!
You're like my biggest supporter through everything. Like, you're such a special person. You're like my little go-to, like, motivator for everything.
Same with me though. Like, honestly, you'll probably sit here and think, you two, get a room, literally. We've got a room right now.
Yeah, my boyfriend judges us, but it's fun. It's so fun. The girls that get it.
We're just girls. Just girls. So, I did want to talk about as well, because it's easy on Instagram to see the shiny, pretty. You put so much hard work into everything you do. Like, I've seen it from, we've been friends for like 5 years now.
Yeah, it's nearly our anniversary.
Oh.
Wait, I think it's New Year's Eve, our anniversary.
Oh my gosh, it actually is. So should I tell the story?
Yeah.
So we met at a rave in Oxford, and it was in the middle of nowhere. It was sort of,
There was cows.
There was a rave bus, so everyone was on this rave bus. It was the time where you weren't really meant to be raving, to be honest, and we both were just out there living our little best
early
lives.
20s, fun.
And long story short, we're in the rave. We started like, I don't know, basically what happened, I had this really big, ratty Lulabells synthetic
non-colour ponytail.
Yeah. No, do you remember that from 5 years ago? Yeah, this horrible ponytail, literally down to my bum. And it had like come out, because I'm just not very good at hair, to be honest. It come out, and I was literally like in the corner, like struggling to put it back in. And Charlotte comes up to me and she's like, do you want some help, babe? And I was like, yeah, please. And you fixed my hair. You were like my fairy godmother from day one.
Yeah, literally your hairy godmother.
My hairy godmother. My hairy godmother. So you fixed my hair, and then for some reason we got each other's Instagrams, and then we decided to meet up, didn't we?
Yeah, and then we've been inseparable ever since.
We've been through a lot together, and you know, I went away for 2 years, and you've had so much go on, and since sort of then we've been for a really big journey together. There's been lots of ups and downs, but we've always stayed like this, haven't we? Like, we've always had each other's backs, and like, it could have been it was 2 years since we saw each other.
Ages.
And we were literally like, we hadn't separated.
No, literally everything was the same. Like, I just love our friendship because we've really evolved, and we've been so many different versions of each other, like the little rave gremlins, dare I say it, who was like a little bit lost, didn't really know where to go, drink lots of alcohol and whatnot, and then we like went into the whole self-development journey together, then the manifestation thing together, and then kind of like
stage.
and then like all the courses, like the coaching.
We've both invested a lot of money, haven't we?
Yeah.
Also, a funny story, I wouldn't have a business without Charlotte, because this is another story. When I was in Australia, so as you all know, I went to a self-love retreat, and I was in a really bad place, and I had this like voice that was like, right, you need to cut out alcohol, you need to stop drinking, you're going to go do something that's going to help people. And when I was in Australia, Charlotte sent me this mindset coaching course and was like, I think you'd be really good at this, and was like, you need to have a look at it. And I just was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. And I was literally like, what the hell? Thank you. What made you send it to me?
I honestly don't even know. I just believe it was like a huge synchronicity in the universe, because I was doing their creator course to help me build my online courses.
Yeah.
And then I just saw the other one and I just thought you would be perfect for it. Because I feel like you've low-key coached me even before you started coaching in your life. Like, our morning chats were just so like motivational and would set me up for the day, and our little voice notes and stuff. So I don't know, I felt like it was your calling, and it made sense.
This is the power of, like, don't underestimate where you can meet your best friends. Like, we met at a rave, and then our friendship has evolved, and now we're both business owners. Well, you've always been a business owner, but now I've joined the gang with my baby business. But it's just been great, and you came on my retreat, didn't you? And like,
oh, it's so much fun. Loved
it's like
it.
a full circle moment. But this is just the start. Like, there's so much exciting stuff to come for us and our friendship, and look at us, we're just like in our matching pyjamas.
We're literally just living our best life at the minute. Like, I love it.
Me too.
It's a random Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
We were like, Wednesday,
because I got the wrong day and we were meant to be here tonight. But how amazing, with the flexibility of the businesses that we've built, we could just literally pack up and go, and we've just had a lazy morning. We're having a coffee,
having a boogie.
Oh my gosh, we had such a boogie this morning. We just had the best tunes on all morning.
Immaculate vibes.
Yeah,
it was the best. Love it.
But definitely go check out Charlotte after this episode. But I want to go back now, because I know for you, and I know for a lot of people listening, you can see all the success, you can see like the shiny sort of like nice side of things, but you've had a journey to get to this point, haven't you? And like, being your friend, and every time Charlotte tells me about her past and things that happened, I literally sit here and I just am like, so if you feel comfortable sharing, I feel like it would be really nice for people to get to know you and your background and the things you've gone through.
Okay, so I grew up on a pretty like normal street in London. I lived in like a really nice area. All of my family, when I was a child, were my neighbours from the beginning. So like, that was really lovely. It was me and my mum. Then next door, we had my granddad and nan. Then my aunties and uncles all on the same street. So the very beginning was very normal, very peaceful. But then I think when I must have been around like 2 years old, my mum got with this partner. And I actually grew up thinking that this man was my dad. So to be fair, he was nice to me. He treated me like his own child, like his family were like my family. But like, even I feel like on the outside, like where we lived, like very normal, very peaceful. It was like such a community. And I feel like back then, because I'm like a 97 baby, that's when like everyone knew everyone, the neighbours were out and about, the kids used to play out. So on the surface, it was very normal. But inside the house, it was like a whole different story. So my mum was a very young mum. So she got pregnant at 19, had me at 20. And then this guy that she was with, he was very abusive. He was like, it was a extremely volatile, like, environment to grow up in, like as a child. Like, seeing him essentially like beat my mum up was so normal to me. And it happened like a few times a week. Like, there was always arguing, like the police would always come round, and it was just so hectic. But as a kid, I actually thought that like it was just normal. I just assumed everyone had a crazy life. I thought everyone would be like a little bit nervous or a little bit anxious in their own home, and I literally just thought that that is the way that it was. Like, I literally remember seeing him like hold like knives up to my mum's throat and everything. Like, it was so hectic and so horrible. And for me, it was just so confusing, because I also thought this guy was my dad.
Yeah.
So they were together.
So were they? So did your family always just tell you that he was your dad?
Yes. So yeah. So I think because I was so young when he was introduced into my life, I just started calling him dad. So obviously I'm mixed race. He was like black as well, so it just kind of made sense. But my mom, when I was younger, we actually had a really good relationship, even though she was going through all that abuse. Like, I was her whole world, and she was like very protective of me and like my feelings. Like, if anyone did say something, or if her and this guy were on a break, she wouldn't let anyone say like the word dad around me. Like, she just wanted to like wrap me up and just
bubble
kind
up,
of and just kind of just keep it away. So yeah, I thought he was my dad, but he ended up going to prison. So yeah, he ended up stabbing my uncle at the time, like through marriage, because they were our neighbours. And that's what it took to get him out of our lives, basically. So yeah, he was a nice guy. It was my cousin's dad who he did that to. So he was just violent to everyone, like a very troubled person. And that was horrible. Like my whole family like had to go to court, and like it was very confusing.
Why did he stab him?
So
It's
like,
even crazy saying those words, isn't it? Like someone that you were brought up with your whole childhood.
yeah. So it's so mad. Like my short-term memory is whack.
Yeah.
But I remember everything from when I was a child, and I feel like it's a blessing and a curse because I remember every single detail. So I remember why he stabbed him. I remember, I think I was around 6 or 7. I can't remember if I was like 7 because of like the court date and stuff when he actually went away. But him and my mum had an argument because I think the electricity ran out. Like, you know, when you have to go do the key fob, and like they was arguing about that for whatever reason. And then it escalated. And then because my auntie lived next door, she heard it. So she came down to help my mum. So at first, like, my family didn't condone this relationship. Like they did try to get her away, but I guess it's hard when you're in that situation to get out and you kept coming back and whatever. So my auntie came down to like de-escalate the situation. This guy, I'm pretty sure he punched my auntie, and then my auntie's partner heard. He came down to protect his woman, and then he unfortunately got stabbed, and like it was just so heavy. Like the whole street was taped off. Like it was literally like something out of like a true crime show. Like it was absolutely hectic. So yeah, he went away. He once the whole like court thing was done, like my mum was done, like we was getting along really well, like things were good. She got with this other partner when I was 11, and it really messed up like our dynamic, and we honestly haven't been close since then. But while we're kind of on the subject of like crazy dads,
There's so much, isn't there?
There's so much. So my biological dad was never around, basically, and I had no idea like that I even had another dad. But it was when I was 14, I remember I got like a text like from my mum saying like, I really need to talk to you. And like, I think I was out with my friend after school, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what the hell? Like, you know, when someone sends a text like that, you're just like, oh my gosh, something's bad's happened.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm literally not coming home until you tell me what it is, because I don't want to talk about it in person. And then she was like, well, the original guy who I thought was my dad isn't my dad. And she actually bumped into my actual dad in Kentish Town. So that's basically where I grew up. And then she told me that like everything wasn't as it seemed. And I found out that another guy was my dad who I didn't know. And that was just crazy and very confusing, like as a teenager as well. So I feel like 11 to like 17 was just a bit chaotic. Wasn't really getting along with my mum. Found out I had another dad.
Yeah.
And then he was talking to my mum and we was planning to meet. But he actually had no intention of meeting me again. He was just trying to like get back with my mum basically and just sleep with her. Like he's not a very nice person either. I actually did Ancestry last year because I wanted to see if I had like other relatives and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out I do. I got in touch with his cousin, his sister. They're lovely people. Like we've been for lunch a couple of times. We're kind of just like friends, to be honest. I think I have like 5 other siblings from him, like that I know of, who one, like it's crazy, isn't it? Like it's so crazy. I know one sister, she also reached out to the other side of my family via Ancestry the week before I did. And then I know he raised like a couple of sons in Camden, which is near where I lived. Like it's literally hectic. There's another daughter somewhere. So yeah.
You could have literally walked past him.
Yeah, no, literally like so many times. But it's just scary to me that like I literally have all these siblings in the area that I grew up with and I had no idea. And we're all a similar age. Like it's absolutely nuts. So yeah, like he's texted me a couple of times and like he was like, oh, like I do want to meet you, all of this, but like nothing's ever come of it. Like I remember he texted me because one of my TikToks came up in his feed because he's got my number now. I was like, firstly, what are you doing on TikTok? Like, you must be like 50.
My dad loves TikTok.
Oh, okay.
He loves like he literally downloaded Instagram and TikTok just to see just to support.
That's so cute.
And he will comment on it, bless him.
To be fair, my uncle is my biggest supporter
Yeah.
on TikTok, and my granddad was my biggest supporter. Like, the first people who liked my videos would be them. So I get it. But for my sperm donor, we don't like him, so whatever. So yeah, there was that situation. And then you're growing up, when my mum was with this new partner, I was hardly ever at home. Like, it wasn't a domestic abuse situation, but me and him, we had the most volatile relationship, and it was just one of those situations where my mum kind of picked a side. Like, and I feel like it's so common, like a woman who's like been through a lot, she finds a new man who makes her feel safe, and it's kind of just like fuck everything else. So when I was a kid, I just spent a lot of time with my uncle, who you'll know is like my nice uncle and auntie.
Yeah.
So I feel like they basically adopted me, because I was literally just living there all the time, and I just wasn't at home, and mine and my mum's relationship just kind of like disintegrated, to be fair, and it's still very rocky. And then, so I was like, it was crazy growing up as a teenager, but I'm so grateful for my uncle. So my uncle and my granddad have kind of been like the two dads that I never fully had in one. Like, they've been like my support systems and like my biggest like motivators, and they've always wanted me like to do better. Like, my uncle was always just like, oh, you should like go be a lawyer or like go be a vet, because he thought those were the only ways that you could make money. He was like, you shouldn't do hair, like there's no money in it, you're not going to have a proper career. But I am grateful for them for just like always like motivating me, and I do think I have like a lot of my granddad's work ethic. So even though my life has been a bit crazy, so grateful for them for making me feel safe and grounded. So after like when I used to stay with my uncle a lot, I ended up getting my own flat, so my little studio, which I loved and adored. And when I got this flat, I was still doing my hairdresser training in Mayfair. So I wasn't earning a lot of money. I think I was bringing home like £900 a month.
It's like crazy to think of living off that now, isn't it?
So crazy. I remember my first wage when I was with another salon, it was £400 a month. And I remember I had to pay like maybe two or £300 rent as well.
Living at home?
Living at home, but I had to pay that to the government.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
What?
Yeah. It was literally insane, because it was like basically no income household. I was essentially the breadwinner. Like, it was
at like 17.
Yeah, 18. Literally 16, 17.
That's crazy.
But you know what? I still like made it work. I still managed to party every weekend. God knows how. Like, I wish my money could stretch that far now. So yeah, moved into my flat. I was grateful to actually have a place to call mine.
Yeah.
However, it was very challenging. So literally as soon as I moved in, I found out that someone did fraud in my name. And I had thousands and thousands of pounds worth of credit card debt that I had no idea. But it was when I wanted to try get some credit, I think, like to buy a Hoover and stuff, like literally like the essentials. Like, I couldn't, I was stuck because someone went behind my back. So that was a whole other thing. I confronted like the person. They wasn't very nice about it. They basically refused to help pay all this debt that they got me in. So essentially, like, I was fucked. I could barely pay my bills as it is. I had no idea how I was going to pay my rent, pay for food, like literally just get through. Like, it was honestly a horrible
How old
time.
were you as well?
So I think as soon as I turned 18, they got the credit cards out in my name. They went shopping, went crazy. For like a year, they was getting all of the letters from these debt companies, but they was hiding them from me. So I was literally in the dark, and, you know, I'm an oversharer. I'm a very trusting person. Like, I'll happily tell anyone, like, pretty much anything. Like, I honestly don't care. But I feel like it's kind of crappy, but sometimes like it's hard if you're open in front of the wrong people, and then there's like a little bit in their brain that's just gonna hold on to it, because someone had my bank details. Because I remember I was in Iron Apple when I was 17 with one of my friends, and I think my card got swallowed, and I needed someone to send money to my friend's account from my account in the UK, because online banking wasn't a thing then. Was
Yeah,
it?
it's
I
all
don't-
new, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, and I think I might have even had a BlackBerry. So you definitely can't. Was it a BlackBerry? Probably. But yeah, anyway, so to get the money transferred, I gave them my account number, my sort code, because I had no idea, but they held on to it. They knew my address, they knew all of my details. I think they had a copy of my ID, and then they got me in thousands of pounds worth of debt behind my back. So yeah, I was dealing with this when I moved into my first flat, and it was really hard, and it was so much. Like, I was so happy that I had my own space, but I knew that I was working on my career. I was working in a really good salon in Mayfair, so that kind of kept me going. I had my little soul dog at the time, Oscar, who was my rock and who I had since I was 13. And as you know, like, he literally got me through everything, and like, we was like this, like, every kind of crazy thing that's gone on in my life.
Oscar.
Yeah, he was literally like my most, aside from my uncle and my granddad, he was like my most constant. I'm gonna say person. He was like my constant person.
Honestly, like, it was like Charlotte and Oscar, wasn't it? Like,
He was literally like my baby and like my little best friend. But yeah,
So
we
special.
lost him last January actually. So he was really poorly. He had like a brain tumor and stuff. So we had to say goodbye. But I had nearly 14 good years with him by my side. It's also so crazy because like my whole adult life, all I knew was Oscar pretty much.
He was like your sort of only family, only family, but
like, he kind of was like, he
yeah.
was the one who I was always with, but also like through all of the shit, he was like my main comfort. And it's like, you know, doggy cuddles are the best. So like, he would know when like shit was going down, and like, it was literally just him through everything. So yeah, at the flat, it was just us. Like, it was like, we made it work. Yeah, when I was there, like, I did struggle a lot mentally. Like, I think it was the best thing for me being out of that environment, but then all the stuff that I've been through previously, and then like all of the fraud, and then all of like the literally less than minimum wage and trying to get through life, that did take a big toll on my mental health. So I think it was a good stepping stone for me, but mentally I was in a really dark place for a long time. But to get out of that place, that's kind of where I went on, not to be cliche, but a bit of like my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And the only things that have helped me like get over like anxiety or like even deep like depressive episodes have been like manifestation, wellness, burning my sage, like meditating, going for walks, hugging a tree, grounding with my bare feet, like, so woo woo. All of my family think I'm insane. A lot of my friends think I'm insane. My boyfriend thinks I'm a witch. He just thinks I'm absolutely loopy. He thinks manifestation is witchcraft. I'm just like, it's not. It's just good vibes. Like, it's literally good vibes. Like, it's the best. So yeah, that happened. So I carried on working through doing like my apprenticeship. Honestly, it's really long hours as well. I feel like a lot of people think doing hair is such a breeze. It took me like 5 years to qualify. And when you're doing your training, when you want to work in a big salon, you work like 50-hour weeks. You have to go to college on your day off. You have to do training night. So you'll work 8:30 till 6, 2 nights a week. You'll have to do a model night 6 till 8 or 9 p.m. Like, the hours are so intense for rubbish money. Like, everyone thinks it's a breeze to work in a good salon, but honestly, like, it is a hard graft. So yeah, once I qualified, I changed salons a few times because a lot of salons are very toxic, especially working in Mayfair. Like, experienced a little bit of racism. Some clients who like weren't so nice, someone who didn't want me to do her hair because she was paying a lot of money in Mayfair. It's not what she expected from a mixed race person. Like, it was wild there.
Like, you know, when I said at the start, Charlotte's been through so much. Like, I sit here and I'm like, what? Honestly, I'm so sorry. Like, all of this it's just,
yeah. Like, I feel like I'm like desensitized to it, but as we were saying yesterday, I feel like it does give you a bit of pizzazz. Like, it just, sometimes trauma can kind of shape you, and it gives you stories. Like, I always have a story to tell. So yeah, salons were, especially Mayfair salons, they were a little bit toxic. So once I qualified and I was on the shop floor, that's where I kind of got a taste for like hair extensions, and I became absolutely obsessed. I got heavily into them, ended up I was doing extensions on the side. I think I actually got the sack from the salon, to be fair, around lockdown because I wanted to do hair extensions. Oh yeah, that was another thing. I actually lost my job. So I was just doing hair extensions on the side. And I told the salon that I was working at, like, I want to do them. And they just wasn't into it at all. But they also didn't want me to do hair extensions outside of work. I was like, fine, like, I'll have my job. If I can't do it here, I'll do my own clients. And then they got really like pissy with me for doing my own clients that I had myself, that I accumulated over time. And in the end, I think I ended up getting the sack. I remember my old boss said to me, he was like, I love your work ethic. You've got a fire inside you. But I think he basically said something towards, and like, in the lines of, but I kind of want to pull it out. And I was like, what the hell? Like, kind of, thank you. But it was like, no, literally. But I guess everything happens for a reason. So I lost my job, and then think I went self-employed. Like, I was self-employed anyway, because when I was doing my training, I used to do my 9 or 10 hours in the salon, but then I would do my private clients as well, like before work or after work. Like, I would literally do clients for like a £20 blow dry at like 6:30 a.m., then 7 a.m., get the bus around London, and then go do a full day at the salon, and then do clients after work, like literally just so I can have enough money to make ends meet, because London's bloody expensive.
And you're a dog mum.
And I was a dog mum as well.
And
like,
you had all this stuff to pay. And
yeah, like,
going on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there was that. So I was used to doing private work anyway. So when I did lose my job, I was like, no, I'll go self-employed. And now I actually have the bandwidth to do what I want to do. And that was to shoot hair extensions 100%. So I just threw myself into it. I had no money, but I rented my first studio, managed to find a deposit. So yeah, I had my first studio space in Northwest London, started a hair extension line. So that's where I started Bellux. So we sold all professional hair extensions, hair care. I got my teacher's certification. I started my hair extension academy, all from this studio. Yas was one of my first customers.
Honestly, I loved it so much. Like, I just remember seeing this amazing businesswoman and like seeing your hair products. I was like, oh my gosh, I need them. I've actually still got them.
It's so cute. Also, a lot of my friends actually haven't supported me as well. Like, I feel like more friends. A client becomes a friend faster than a friend becomes a client. But I don't know, it's just so funny with people. So like, it just really stood out to me, and it literally made my heart so full. So yeah, that was going well. Again, as I was saying yesterday, I'm just a huge fan of running before I can walk. I had no idea what I was doing. I think I was like 21 or 22. I put what little savings I had into this business and managed to get a small business loan as well, so I could buy all my stock. Because also hair extensions is bloody expensive. It was going well until it wasn't.
Are you ready, guys? Next.
Another plot twist. But what is one more? So my entire studio space got burgled, and I lost everything. So I had insurance at the time. It wasn't the correct insurance. So I don't even know what I was covered for. Like, I was paying all this money for insurance, but I wasn't covered against theft. But obviously, me not knowing much about business, like, I had no idea really like what to look for or what to fine tune.
I'm sorry, but who would actually steal like someone's?
You know what? There was another hairdresser in that studio, and I thought we were friends, and she was very close with the building managers and stuff. So it was very suspicious, and she'd always come in and be like, oh, like, to keep your hair here and all this. And so the burglary happened, I found like my studio, all my hair, absolutely like just ransacked basically, and everything was gone. And I remember the day it happened, my building managers were being so shady. I had to like get the police involved. There had to be like an investigation. But unfortunately, like, the cameras weren't working. And so I ended up having to speak to a solicitor, and there was so much other shady things, but I feel like I probably repressed a lot of it, but also it was like 5 years ago now. And my solicitor was like, you know what they're saying isn't making sense, but if you want me to investigate, it's going to be 5k. And I was like, okay, I have no income. I've lost my savings. I'm now in debt. I'm still in this contract. So I have to manage to be able to find a way to pay this rent. I had my rent to pay at home. And I was in such a dark place. I also went through a horrible breakup at the time with someone who I was with for years. And they literally left me like, no, they didn't even leave me. They completely ignored me a couple of days after the burglary happened, because I think it was like something, because I was expecting them to see me that weekend. We had plans to see me, but they wanted to go out with their friends. And I was just, it was so much. Like, I feel like you couldn't even make it up. But like, when one thing, it's like when you wake up, you stub your toe in the morning, and things spiral. Like, my life went on a complete downward spiral, and it was a really scary time for me, actually. Like, I had my uncle and my granddad, but
you're so young, like, to go through all of that, and like, been working and working. It's like you're swimming, you're trying to get to the shore, and you just keep sinking.
Yeah, it's like I kept being dunked by these bloody waves, like again and again and again. And honestly, I did lose hope. So I think after the burglary and after like the breakup, that was probably one of my biggest low points, to be fair. Like, I was ready to quit doing hair. I was like, the universe is like saying it's not for me. Like, it's like, it was like the Wild West, to be honest. And I honestly took it as a sign that I just need to stop and I need to give up. And I basically did for a few months. Well, I say I did, but honestly, like, I just wasn't in a good space. And it was probably one of the darkest places that I've ever been in my whole entire life. So it was like very scary mentally. And I honestly wasn't even sure that I would make it out the other side, like, a lot of times. So I managed to find a way to pay my rent. I think I might have been able to get out of my contract a little bit early. But yeah, it was still horrible. So I was in a really deep, dark place. Just me and Oscar again, getting through life. I remember, like, my close friends who I had around me, like, they was actually like really supportive as well. I had like one of my friends like bringing me flowers. She was like my other little boyfriend. I say other little boyfriend because I feel like you're kind of like my non platonic, or is it platonic?
I don't know, platonic.
Oh yeah, you're like my platonic
love.
Yeah, you're like my platonic love.
Are,
like, this is like just girls. So yeah, after being in that really dark period, like, I kind of like, I knew hair was my calling, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to get my shit together and I am going to make it work. So I spent a few months healing, refocusing, and just knowing, I had like an inner knowing that things were going to work out and that I was going to find a way to bounce back. So it was messy. It wasn't straightforward at all. But after that, I managed to find the money to get a new studio space, which is the space that I'm still in now. Like, no one gave it to me. I also had a really shitty credit rating, so I didn't have a hope in hell of getting a loan. And like, obviously the credit rating wasn't down to me. It was down to like someone else. Like, it still like affected me. But I feel like because I had that inner knowing and I was like focused on the end goal and I took action, the universe kind of helped me find a way to make it happen. So this is where the story gets a little bit better. So I moved into my my second studio, sorry. Things were going really well. This is where Bell Lux really took off. Like, I was selling my hair. I think I've literally sent hair to like Australia, America, I think like New Zealand as well. Like, I've literally shipped my hair brand all over the globe. I have recently closed that down because I don't feel like it aligns with what I want to do moving forward. But I'm grateful for that journey. It taught me so much. And it also took me to this studio space that I'm in now. And then that's where like I just had more bandwidth, like new energy being in a new space, and when my training and building my actual hair extension clients really took off. And I think that's where things started to go a lot better. Yeah, so I think that's good. It still has been a little bit rocky. Like, I'm still thinking of other things that have happened in my head in this time. Like, even though things were going better in the studio, and it's like I've started making like actual money, because I struggled for years, like literally for like the majority of my life, like even from a child, and like it hasn't been fun. But even now things are going better, like there still have been a few bumps in the road. But I feel like with anything, you are still gonna have like some struggles and go through certain things, but you just have to be so focused like on the end goal and just make it out like the other side as best you can.
And you know how refreshing it is just to sort of like hear a real story, because you know, it's so easy to just compare yourself and think like, oh my gosh, they've got it perfect, or like, you know, or like daddy's money, or like, you know, they've just started this business and everything's been perfect. But you've had fraud, you've been burgled, you've had all of the odds against you growing up, like, you know, in your sort of environment growing up. Not a lot of people make it, you know, out the other side. Not a lot of people would be here to tell the tale that they have gone and created a very successful business, you know, had it burgled, had fraud, had all of the odds against them, but are sat here in your Christmas pajamas on a random Wednesday morning. Like, your business is going strength to strength. I feel like I can see things as well. Like, I'm such a woo-woo person. Like, I feel like this is just the start for you still. I feel like over the next sort of 5 years, everything is just going to bloom, and everything that you've been through is going to help you, like, it tenfold, and you're just going to get all of the success that you actually deserve.
Oh, thank you. Like, the last few months, I have actually felt like a huge shift with my business.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really worked for a lot of 2024, to be honest with you. Yeah. But the last few months of this year have been really good. So obviously, the end of last year and the start of this year was also horrible for me. And I think I probably had like 6 or 7 months off work. So long story short, like, I ended up losing my granddad to leukemia, like, very suddenly. I think we found out the end of November last year. We lost him on the 8th of December. Then I lost Oscar on the 30th of January. So that completely fucked me, basically. I think that was one of the worst struggles that I've actually been through everything. So I actually gave myself a lot of grace, though, which I'm very grateful for. And I think I said this to you because before, I would have been so hard on myself with, like, the whole very toxic, like, hustle culture. Like, bitch, you got to get up, you have a business to run. But I literally was just like, fuck it.
You need time.
Yeah, like, I literally took the time that I needed. I pretty much had a sabbatical, to be fair. I wasn't really making much money, but now that I'm, like, refocused again, I'm, like, well and truly into my healing era, dare I say it. Like, now I have literally felt such a huge shift. Like, I've cut off the things in my business that don't really align with me, like, such as, like, the selling hair, and I'm just doing the things that I truly love. Like, I love my clients. Like, I love just making all my client friends feel pretty. I love my students. Like, I love helping people create their businesses. And I feel like now that I've honed in the things that have a special place in my heart, things are literally booming. Like, last month I had my biggest, like, cash month ever.
Yeah.
Like, and before, when I was selling hair, that actually made up so much of my income. I think it's probably like 60-70%. So even, like, a lot of people don't understand why I've cut it off, but it honestly started to give me a headache, and it wasn't aligning. So willingly losing that money to just dive in again with no proper plan, but literally just trust my heart. Literally living for the plot. But I feel like,
what did you say yesterday? Delulu?
Oh my gosh, your Delulu comes Trelulu. So everything, we're so Delulu.
We are so
But
Delulu.
honestly, I feel like everyone needs at least one high vibe Delulu person in their life.
Yeah. We could say anything to each other. Like, we always have this mermaid retreat joke, because when we were like, there's this lady we love called Denise D. Thomas, and she's got this book called Get Rich Lucky Bitch, and that's our little Bible for money.
Yeah, literally. And her app is amazing.
And she talks about this mermaid retreat at some point, and we were literally like, oh my gosh, should we go to a mermaid retreat? But that is literally who we are. Like, we will just back each other.
I remember, like, one of the first nights we went out, we must have been really drunk. Like, you were just saying, oh yeah, like, I love the thought of, like, doing a retreat before you had a coaching business, like, before anything happened. But now look, that was Delulu at the time, but now it's actually come Trelulu.
Yeah. And I said when I was 16, I wanted to have my own retreat villa in Ibiza, and I wanted to, like, before girls come out to Ibiza, they'd get everything done, and then they'd go on a holiday, look amazing. And I'm like, that could happen now. We could make Yaz's, well, they are happening.
Yeah,
the retreats are happening.
It's happened. It's booked. You're like, is it like full or nearly full?
Yeah, so the retreat next year is fully booked, which is amazing. So I'm gonna have to do a second date. Because
if I must.
But it's like a pinch me. It's like, you know, we joke about all of this, but we've worked really hard.
Yeah.
And you see, like, the sort of positive personas online. You see us, or, like, you know, the aesthetic, perfect content sometimes. Like, not always, but like.
But yeah, I always get told, like, oh my gosh, like, she's so lucky, or like, oh, she must be so spoiled, or her parents must have helped her.
Well, now you know, guys.
No, honestly, I'm like, honey, no, like, it has not been straightforward at all. But yeah, I do think it's so important just to be, like, a little more, like, to show like the rawness.
Yeah.
Because like not that many people do at all. And I feel like everyone has shit going on. I feel like for more people than not, like nothing's a straightforward journey. And I just think it's so important and healthy to like highlight it and just make people feel like you're not alone and shit happens to everyone, but you can actually
pull yourself
out. You can pull yourself out of it and you can get past it. And it's like your shit doesn't have to define you. Like crazy people in your life don't have to define you.
I was gonna say, so what do you feel like your upbringing and all the hardships you've been through have helped you with in your life today? As hard as it is.
So, firstly, I don't dwell on my upbringing at all. Like, I feel like because it was so heavy and so intense from a very young age, like, it's made me really strong. Like, I'm such a strong person. And I feel like I'm extremely resilient. It's made me a lot more motivated. I also feel like it shaped me and given me, like, my pizzazz, or it gives you a little bit of like, I love the word pizzazz. I don't even know where it's come from, but I feel like I probably just made it off my head. But yeah, like I feel like I've used my experiences and my old environment to kind of like shape me, but for the better. Like I kind of feel like everyone has a choice, so you can go one way or the other. You can either be a copy and paste of what you've been through and you can follow that road, or you can learn from it and you can grow from it. And I think you can kind of use it and like leverage it as like a superpower. And then I don't know, I think what's that thing, it's like God or like the universe gives like the strongest soldiers like the most shit. So sometimes like I'm a big believer of that, but sometimes like universe, come on down, like I want a chill pill. But I think it's good because then you can like help other people and inspire other people and just like motivate other people who are also going like through shit. So yeah, I just feel like you can just use it as a superpower, as a strength, and to just like shape you for the better.
I feel like you really do that. You've honestly done so well. Like I just love being your bestie, and I love watching everything that you achieve, and like seeing you hit that goal last month. I was just like, we're not very like materialistic, are we? Really, we're very chill vibes, but like just the hard work that you put in, it was just so beautiful to see you. Like, oh my gosh,
thank you. But honestly, though, even with you, like, how long have you actually been in business? Like, it's not very long at all. But what you've done in such a short space of time is insane. Fully booked events, like, fully booked with your clients, like, global retreats. Like, babe, it's insane. Like, you are honestly a powerhouse, and I love having you in my life.
We're literally just like flirt with each other.
No, but like this is us on WhatsApp. Like if you saw our messages,
you're just doing so well today. Can you just try this new manifestation technique with me? That's
my gosh,
every day,
no, literally. I was like, oh my gosh, have you seen this or this new like EFT technique?
Oh my gosh, we need to do this. We need to buy this. We need to do this course together. We like do courses together, don't we?
Yeah, we do. But it's also so nice. Just like we're like each other's cheerleaders, but also it's like a little bit of accountability. And it's good vibes.
It is good vibes. So you're trying to get a manifestation bestie because it will change your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Last thing, 2025, what's exciting you? Because it would be nice for us to look back at this next year.
Okay, so now that I've cut off what I don't want to do in my business, I'm excited to just focus on the things that make me happy. Yeah, so clients, curly hair extensions. I actually want to spread the word a lot more because still not that many people know, and I just want to teach as many women that you can embrace your natural hair if you want it longer. Like you don't have to struggle with straight extensions. I want to do a lot more training. My courses are now globally accredited as well, so I've had like a few people like fly out to come and train with me as well. I've had students from Ghana, Germany. I've had some people in America as well. So I want to do a lot more global training, which is just so exciting and I love it. But I also want to tap into coaching as well.
Yay!
So I just want to help like other people in the beauty industry, like mainly people in the hair extension industry, just like build a life and like a business like mine basically. Like now I have so much freedom. I only work with clients 2 or 3 days a week. Super chilled. I want to help them like escape the typical low income beauty business rat race, and just teach them that like there's better ways to do it. You can have fun and you can just build a business that is like just vibing. So yeah, this time next year I just want to be doing a lot more training, a lot more helping other people build their dream businesses, and just making a lot of other curly girls have their dream mermaid hair.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Wow, I feel like that's a lovely place to end.
Thank you for having me. I've honestly had the best time.
Well, cheers to this. Cheers to our break. Cheers to us. Cheers to 2025.
Cheers to the chaos. Cheers to everything.
Cheers to thriving in the chaos, because we're both good at that.
We really are. I know. Don't we have like 2 minutes to pack our stuff?
Yeah, now we have 10 minutes left before we've got to be out of this Airbnb, and we're still sat here. But you know, it was worth it.
It was so worth it.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, everyone. Honestly, I'll leave all of Charlotte's tags for her TikTok, her Instagram, all the exciting things she's doing in the show notes. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Love you lots, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode on the Your Girl Yaz podcast. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7 a.m. UK time, so I look forward to seeing you back here. I also have a free higher self meditation course for you to learn to meditate, to relax, to switch off, that's available for you to access now in the show notes. And also don't forget to follow the podcast wherever you're listening, rate, leave us a review. I appreciate it way more than you could ever know. Thank you so much again for listening. If you've got any feedback of the podcast, my Instagram at Yasmin Lily Hilston is also linked in the show notes, and I really appreciate it.